Hey. All right. Wednesday morning. We're here. I had a rough night last night. I didn't sleep too well. But I wanted to make sure and come on and share with you. So, welcome. Good day, great day. Greetings come through. Gather around. Thank you for being here. For those of you who don't know, my name is Odessa. I am a women's wellness mentor, and I help women to increase their vitality and reduce pain and frustration with fibroids, infertility, miscarriages, and just help them to feel better about themselves using natural medicine. So today I wanted to come to you and talk about this question of, can I experience peaceful periods? Can I experience successful pregnancies? And my answer is yes. Even though you have faced a lot of difficulty, a lot of challenges, even though, greetings to everyone coming through, even though your experience of your hormones and your womb health may have been traumatic, even though you have gone to the doctors and you have had experiences or interactions with them that leave you feeling less than confident about what's happening, it is important to know that your body, in combination with the right kinds of medicine, can help you. And that's what I wanted to talk with you about today. So oftentimes, because of how society is set up, we rely on the institution of Occidental medicine to bring us the solutions. And they are amazing at trauma and I told you I'm tired. They're amazing at trauma and crises intervention, right? And there are complexities that are best to be explored through their facilities, right? I wanted to make sure that I have the right vocabulary to express this. But there's a certain level, you know what I mean, of deeper personal relation of the body and the being that they don't go to based off of the kind of training that they have. So most often times, people, clients, prospects in general will go to the doctors looking for the medication to help them to feel better about the circumstances that they're going through. Sometimes and oftentimes they'll hear from their doctors that there isn't anything that can be done based off of the severity of the situation, and sometimes there isn't anything that can be done about a permanent situation, but you can do things to alleviate the discomfort and the pain surrounding the circumstance and the condition that you're living with. So we oftentimes can think that, okay, well, this is where I've arrived at and that's the only thing available for me. Oftentimes, we think that, we need to go harder, and I mentioned this in the previous video, and that's something that goes against who we are naturally as women folks, people who carry feminine and female parts. We think that eating better, and then cheating is, these are the options that we're looking at. We heard that, eating better or getting better with our nutrition and taking a couple of herbs, a couple of medicine, that's what's going to do it. Now, depending on the severity, the acuteness or the chronic state of your illness, taking something for a short amount of time can and will give you results. But if you're dealing with chronic illness, if you're dealing with things that you've been living with for 10, 20, 30 years, right, then it means that it requires a little bit more. Oftentimes, especially with women who are dealing with repeat miscarriages, I want to take a minute and talk specifically to you about this, right? You often feel the anxiety after having lost a child and wanting to have a child based off of the pressure that you're experiencing from your family, but you need to take your time before trying to conceive again, right? Sometimes, the rushing of that experience is what's stopping you from receiving. You haven't completed the cycle of releasing, although your body may have done that. And so, you just kind of keep trying to figure it out. You just, you know what I mean, keep turning and revving your wheels. And so, like, to get the results that you want, oftentimes we're led down the direction of Occidental medicine, which does wonders for people who, especially if you're dealing with very severe crisis and trauma interventions, right? And then you've got, the nothing can be done, and so you don't do anything. And then, and especially if you're dealing with something that's long term, you have it and you may not be able to change. Example, like maybe you had a hysterectomy, right? Or maybe you've had myomectomies, or you may be experiencing pain afterwards, right? Because of adhesions, because of complications, or how you've been healing. And so this you do not have to live with the level of pain and discomfort that you're feeling, right? There are options for you, but you may not know this, right? And so for my women who have miscarried, oftentimes you feel as though you have to plow through and try again, because it didn't work this time, let me just jump back into it again, let me just, kind of go forward and push through. And none of that is helping you, right? So when, as I mentioned to you, it's counterintuitive. When you push against something that is naturally yin, right? The process of creation, the process of beingness, right? The process of, the circadian rhythm, the biorhythms of the body, they can't be rushed. When they're stressed and when they're rushed, they don't function at their optimum. And so you start to experience stress, showing up in the way that you're responding to things. So if you're just even looking at that naturally, the pushing against to get results, it doesn't work. And I mentioned this in the last video previously, like I said. But also, if you need recoup time, everybody does. And if we're looking at women and their cycles, you need recoup time. You are losing blood. I got a thumbs up. Thank you. You are losing blood every month. Some women become severely anemic, that they are severely, anemic and really sick and walking on, the edge of tumbling over and maybe not recuperating, right? Like, we know this for a fact. And so if you think that after, losing, blood, you're bleeding, or, you're experiencing whatever it is that you're going through, and then the response to that is to get up and push harder, right? This is not going to, that was you, right? And so what have you done? What has changed for you, right? What did you learn? What was that experience like for it to change, And because that's how we're trained. That's how, we're conditioned to think, and it's wrong. It's wrong, because you need to give the body time to recuperate. When we talk about just even, surgery in general, you lose blood in surgery, the body has been opened, all these different things have happened, but for women, I don't know, because we've been doing it for so long, they think that, like, we don't need extra time or extra, self-nurturing. So another thing that's not working for, women who are pushing against the grain, is that when you're taking medication, example, like pain medication, I've had some experiences where, the client is taking such high medication that, I mentioned it's affecting their liver, and so it starts to suppress the function. And so clots are bigger, the back pain is stronger. Really had to slow down and listen to my body. This is it. That's the key. That is the key, right? Like that can cut away at least a third of your problems, at least a third of your problems. Listening to your body. Yeah. And how is it for you now, right? I would love for you to share that with me. Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate that. Knowing that, when you're ODing on taking pain medication, be it Tylenol, be it Aleve, be it, naproxen, Percocet, and you're taking them in high dosages, this is suppressing the symptoms, but it isn't helping your condition or your situation to get better. There's a whole system out there that has been designed for women, that naturally exists for women, and we don't know this, right? We don't know how to tap into this, So when you're, moving against, when you're moving against you're doing a lot better. Thank you for sharing. When you're moving against your grain, when you're moving against your natural capacities, you also start to look for quick fixes, right? Because you're in a state of stress. You're in a state of, I don't think anything can happen. You're in a state of, not being rejuvenated. And then you start looking for the quick fixes, because when you're taking regular medication, right, you take your pain meds, you take your naproxen, you take your Percocet, you take your Tylenol, and, you can stop the pain within a half an hour, right? And then you can just repeat that cycle. It happens right away. But when you're working with natural medicine, there's a certain level of patience that you have to have. And many times people will fall off of that because, like I said, you think that you can eat well and cheat, right? Like you can take a pill, and you can take certain, foods here and there to help to, change, the symptoms right now. And then you can go right back to what you're doing and cheat. And so then when you apply this to herbs and natural medicine and the actual hands-on therapies, and you're asking yourself, well, why isn't it working? Right? This is because you are not using the work in the right way. Right? You are not respecting the sanctity and the sacredness of the work or whatever it is that you've come into contact with. And oftentimes people don't recognize, what it is that we have access to, because we don't understand the multi-dimensional, the multi-layered aspects of the person and the being, and how it, integrates with healing and wellness, So what are the gaps in the process that we're missing, right? What are the gaps? The first thing, as I was, as Charlotte B, I believe that's how we pronounce your name, as Charlotte B shared, slowing down was the first piece of the puzzle, right? And that's extremely counterintuitive, because oftentimes we want to, push forward, we want to drive ahead, and we want to, make sure that we're doing all of the things, and that's not helping you at all. Regrouping and resting, making that a priority. Right? Like this has to be a priority. And it doesn't mean that you have to take, the full afternoon off every single which it's great if you can, right? But it's about carving out time, 5-minute, 10-minute moments, 20 minutes if you can, an hour if you can, because you control your time. Right? Doing that to be able to give yourself that moment of rejuvenation, that respite to go forward and jump forward. Live well with Maxine. Hey, sis. Agree 100. We have to have patience with our bodies, with the healing process when taking natural medicine. That's right. That is right. And Charlotte B says, yes, regrouping and resting. This is crucial, especially for folks who have female parts. Especially for women, especially if you're dealing with chronic and acute reproductive health issues. You up there tired as wanna be, and going and going and going and going. And then there's the chronic issue of, needing to serve other people and not being good enough, in whatever it is that you're doing, because you want to think about yourself, but you can't because you need to think about other people. It's a whole thing that we go through, you know what I mean? It's a whole process. And so that regrouping and resting is important. Knowing that you are an asset. You are an asset, right? You are needed. You are loved, right? You are sacred, and you need to start looking at yourself as an investment, right? For your future self, for who you are becoming, for what you want, your experience of your body in this, present time, 2020, 2021, moving on into the future to be. You are an asset, right? So, and also knowing, the last piece to that would be knowing that, your body can naturally heal itself. Your body can naturally rejuvenate itself if you create the right environment for it. That's right. You are an asset. Thank you, for chiming in on that. Like, when we recognize that, when you get the experience of like, whoa, that's right. I deserve to create these boundaries. I deserve to pour into me first. I deserve to feel brimming with wellness, with joy, with radiance and vitality, so I can really give to others, right? Especially if you are married, in a relationship, or have children, right? Or people come to you. You know what I mean? Like, we all have that, but when you're in that role of giver, right, this piece makes another layer available to you. You know what I mean? So knowing that I am an asset. I am valuable enough to invest in. I need to invest my time into researching what is good enough for me. I need to invest my finances into the quality of things that are good for me. I need to invest, my time preparing the energy around me, creating boundaries, so really just connecting to that, and knowing that it's possible, to receive more when you're in a different energetic place. So what I want to share with you, in this process of striving for peaceful periods and successful pregnancies, is that doors are now open for my program, Womb Wisdom for Hormonal Health. And this is my baby. I am so happy to have given myself permission to open up and share this with those who need this work. It is a 7-week immersion into natural and traditional medicine, and really getting women to understand how they can cultivate their own womb wellness using tools that you can keep for life. You know what I mean? These are tools that women need to have around them to be able to recognize the value of who they are, to be able to feel as though they can care for themselves, to be able to become more familiar with their own inner vocabulary, right? Because you have a very special rhythm, right? Whether you still have a period or not, if you were born with, you know what I mean, these parts, you partake in a very special rhythm. And so it's about getting women to connect to this with medicine, to be able to stabilize their hormones, to be able to feel stronger in their body, to be able to reduce the clots and drop the weight, right? And to rejuvenate their body enough and make their wombs strong enough to be able to carry their babies, to term in a healthy way, right? And give you just more of that chance. Now, it's very important. I must give you this disclaimer. I cannot claim to make you get pregnant, right? But we have had successful pregnancies, and women have had or have reported that they feel stronger. Their bodies feel stronger during the process of conception again, right? So this program starts on the 22nd of November and we go for 7 weeks. There are 3 phases to it. The first phase I like to call the MAP method. And this is where we use multidimensional awareness to assess your present situation, right? And so we're looking at it emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically, so we can understand how you arrived at where you are, what is keeping you in your situation, and the best ways for you to work with it, right? Moving forward. The second phase is about optimizing your environment. And this is where we look at internal cleansing and external cleansing of the body, because you cannot receive medicine into your cells if you have not washed out, right, or cleansed out your cells. You can, and you can get results, but if you're looking at healing, and if you're looking at getting results, you've got to experience that. And so I walk you through that, how to organize the internal and external environment, right? And how to, really create and set that environment so you can thrive. And the third phase is the actual implementation of the work. I'm so excited about this part here, because when women have done the implementation piece, this is where we weekly will set up, are we doing yoni steaming, are we doing breathing exercises, are we doing self massaging and self acupressure and reflexology, are we learning how to visualize, what are the best practices for this week of my cycle? Like, we're going to be going so deep into this and really, pulling apart, what that feminine energy is, what feminine freedom looks like in your specific circumstance. Like, I love this work. I really, really do. It has made such a difference. The women who have gone through the program before have all said that the experience of the implementation part was a game changer for them, because it sets them on a particular rhythm, a cadence, a momentum, and how it has unfolded for them. How they're able to really get quiet and see, when the emotional fluctuations are happening, when, the dips in their physical body are going to happen. They're better able to anticipate and prepare. There's more harmony and fluidity. I mean, it's just been a beautiful journey. And I want to invite you all into this cocoon of wellness, womb wisdom for hormonal health. One other piece to the puzzle that we're going to be working on is understanding how to, heal trauma around our womb wellness, our womb health, our sexuality, right? How does it look like, whether it's mental abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, right? It still exists within us. And for women, we carry a lot in our wombs. Everyone carries information in their body, but the womb is a receptacle and it holds information. And so we want to release, the experiences of, sexual trauma. We want to release the experiences of repeat miscarriages and abortions. We want to release the experience of, 10-day, 15-day periods, we want to stabilize. We want to feel more at home in our bodies. And I want to be the one to offer you this gift of feminine freedom and peaceful periods and successful pregnancies through womb wisdom for hormonal health. So if this is something you feel called to look into, please, 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 if you are on Facebook, you will be able to click on the link in this post to be able to apply. And if you are on Instagram, please hop over to my bio and click on that link, and you can go through the application and fill in your information so we can set up a next step call where we will get an idea for where you are on your journey, and how this program works, and if we are a good fit to work together. So please make sure to share this information with someone you think will benefit from hearing it, and hashtag replay on the bottom. Let me know what takeaways you received from this sharing of mine, and please make sure to come back. I really enjoy sharing with you all. Take care. One love. Good day.